This video is made for adult collectors because, man, those Overgear figures look so cool. I cannot wait.
So I just came back from like shopping and things, and I went to the dollar store and they had this. Just at the dollar store randomly for some reason. I don't know why. Wait, why did I do that? I have to film. What am I doing? Why did I do that? There, I finished it. There it is next to today's subject. Oh, that rolls terribly.
Prime released two deluxe Cliffjumper molds, the first edition and the Prime RID or PRID one. I've owned both and I like both. The first edition one has a couple of issues to me in terms of like the proportions and the head liking to crack on the neck. The PRID one also has some weirdness too, but I don't know, I find myself having more fun with this one over the first edition and even the new Legacy one, and I like the new Legacy one. This Cliffjumper I got on a whim after selling my first edition one, and it's really funky looking, but I like that about it. The first edition does do the arms a lot better than this one, but this one here gets the legs and like the shaping of the torso just right. Granted, it is a fake chest, and if that bugs you, then you probably want to go first edition. This is one of those been on my desk for a while type figures because of how fun the transformation is to do. Excuse me, whoa. I remember the transformation of the first edition one being a bit on the side, but this one feels a tad bit more smooth. I'm really glad though that the Prime toy line went and did like new molds for almost everything between first edition and Prime RID. I wonder why they did that, but hey, it means more toys for us to pick from, which I appreciate. I love all the detail within the torso, but because of the age of this guy, it is paint chipped a bit up front. The arms are very long and rectangular because they are entirely made of doors, whereas the first edition one, the legs are entirely made of doors and they look weird. I like the head sculpt and the expression he has. Yes! An expression on a Transformer. He looks so angry and filled with rage, probably because his voice actor was too expensive and then they killed him in episode 1. Spoiler alert. The back of the figure is fairly clean. There is quite a bit of car hanging out back here, but it does sit pretty flat to the body, so it doesn't get in the way a lot. However, it doesn't really peg into anything, so parts of it just like to move on its own. The back of the legs are very hollow because of how everything has to compress into them for transformation, and because of that, I don't mind, but I know there are going to be some people out there who do mind, so it is worth mentioning. This figure comes with a hammer that looks like it's made out of his engine, which is actually kind of cool. Bro's just going to go and swing around a small block V8 at people. This figure has ball-jointed ankles, and due to age, they've gotten very loose over time. I can fix that. I'm just lazy. So the articulation on this thing is actually quite modern. There is a lot of really cool stuff in here. It does more than some modern day deluxes. It's just a wee bit awkward, like how the joints are placed and all the little bits around him and stuff. So the head's on a ball joint. You get a very nice tilt out of that, and you can look down that far and up that far. Rotation's a bit limited because of the chin and the sculpting around him. He's got like a shirt collar and it gets in the way. The shoulders, they can do a full 360. They're on a ball joint, but they rotate at an angle just because the joint goes out and up. So it's like that. The shoulders, they can only go out about that far here, but any other way they can go out a little bit further. You hear that nice cracking noise? That's the wheel rubbing against the front of the car. Now this piece is a clear plastic insert, so it's not gonna break, but it doesn't make the nicest noise when you get the arm out in a full T pose. He does have bicep rotation, double jointed elbows that bend all the way. This doesn't really clip on as well as I would like. It's this little clip right here goes over this panel, and it just doesn't really work the greatest. This can move. The wrists are on ball joints, so they can flick in and out. They can go up and down. They can't rotate that much because of how the ball joint's mounted, but I do like all of this motion. That's very cool. He does have a waist joint, which is great. The hips can only go forward about that far because these little sculpted bits bump into the thighs. If you move the thigh out like this, you can get it to go a bit further, but that's just a wee bit strange. He's also got fake tires on his butt. They can go back that far. They can go in and out. You have your thigh rotation. On this side, the thigh rotation likes to come off a lot. Just a wee bit annoying. You get a full bend at the knee because of the transformation, and then the ankles can go down, they can go up, you can swivel them, and he has a little bit of an ankle tilt. So extremely articulated for a figure this old from the Prime toy line, because the Prime toy line had pretty decent articulated figures. This is missing a waist joint and wrist swivels and all that. This is also missing, I think, a waist joint and something else, I can't remember. But like this is very, very posable. It's really fun. It's also awkward. Even with all its quirks, I still really like this robot mode. I don't know if I'd like it more than the first edition one in terms of looks, because of the lower body of this looks better to me, but the upper body of the other one looks better to me. But what makes this one stick out to me more over the other two is the transformation. I really enjoy doing this transformation. So getting this guy into his car mode is really satisfying. I very much enjoy the process of doing it. There's some cool automorph stuff that his head does,
And this might look like a mess, but it's actually not that bad. It's pretty easy. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take these panels at the legs and rotate them 180 degrees. They will soft click into place. Then you wanna take the feet, rotate them around, and just sort of flick them forward like that. So you rotate them around, flick them forward so that the exhausts are sticking up like at the side here. Then you take the waist and you're gonna rotate it 180 degrees and leave it like that. The back section, we're going to just basically unfold all of this. Just get that out like that for now. Take the arms, we're going to open this section up, but you won't be able to open it up all the way because of the fist. So you fold the window out, you fold this down, and then you flick the wrist around and over like that, and then fold that into place there. That's really fun to do. It's just a smooth order of operations. Let's do it again. Bring that out, fold this around and over, and there it is. Now you want to take the arms, and they're on this gear mechanism attached to the head. So when you shift them up, you got to do them both at like the same time. You get these up and you shift them like that. It will in turn fold the head in, which is pretty cool. Then you rotate the biceps 180 degrees and you start folding these down like that just to get them out of the way. Bring the front of the grill section forward. We're going to then slide all of this into place, and these hands very, very satisfyingly just slip underneath the windshield. You get that entire front section pegged together. Then you take the legs and you bring them around, and they are going to go over these little clips at the end of the doors on both sides. Clips at the end of the doors. If you don't do it in this order, it becomes really annoying to try and shove the arms in. But once you get that all sorted, you press that into place and then flick this around and over. And there you have the what is legally distinct Charger Challenger mode. It's very fun to do. Also, just because of the way he transforms, he's got an opening hood, which I think is pretty neat. But yeah, I really love getting these arms into place. Just fitting them into here is so satisfying. And he cleans up pretty well. Except this foot, because of how loose it is, it doesn't like to stay lined up, which is a little bit annoying.
This dude really flattens out into that legally distinct Charger Challenger looking thing. Like, it tidies up very well. The only thing that's a bit of an eyesore on this car are the feet hanging out the bottom, but everything else I think looks great. Okay, maybe not everything else. The completely clear windows, they look weird because you can see the structure and the robot underneath. Don't know why they do completely clear windows. Just tint them. Looks horrible like this. I do like the silver painted rims and the grille with the headlights picked out, and they even painted the back, though it would have been cool if they actually picked out the taillights too. He has his horns up front, which are a softer material so you don't poke your little sister's eye out, and the hammer can store up top rather ungracefully. Nice size though. While the plastic feels okay at best because it's a Prime toy, at least everything tabs together nicely here, leaving the entire figure feeling nice and snug. But like, I do like this a lot. It is not perfect by any means, and there are two other really good options out there. I don't think there's actually been a bad Prime Cliffjumper toy. Even the small little Legion one is great. It does some things better and others not so much, but it's fun for me, and in the end, that's all I really care about. I do recommend this. It shouldn't be too expensive. Oh my good googly moogly, why is this cost so much money? What the hell? What happened? Okay. Don't pay that much for this thing. Just, I don't know, get the Age of the Primes reissue, the Legacy one. That's probably your best option. But that's my look at, what is this, RID Cliffjumper. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.